Do you like adjectives? Big Bad Toy Store has twice as many adjectives as some other leading toy stores. Click the link in the description below and never buy from stores with minimally modified names again. Now watch my video. Hello and welcome to VR Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the SH Figuarts Shenron. So yes, here we have the most unique Dragon Ball Z SH Figuart, which is Shenron. Unfortunately, he's a fairly disappointing figure, and he's also fairly expensive at retail price. If you're somebody that wants to get all of the figures in this line, or if you just want a big dragon, he might be worth picking up, but otherwise you could certainly pass on him without it being a big deal. Alright, starting off with a quick size comparison, of course here we have Shenron. Here's our standard Marvel Legends 6-inch Cosmic Armor Iron Man, 3 3/4-inch Marvel Universe Wolverine, and a standard size SH Figuart, which is Goku. Of course, Shenron is not proper 1/12 scale. He would take up like an entire room if he was. Shenron is massive. But as you can see, he is a fairly large figure. He will tower over most things if he is on his stand, so at least he's floating and looks big. It would be absurd to expect a full-scale one, so the size is just kinda what it is. Anyway, let's get everything else out of here and just look at Shenron. Moving on to our 360 spin, as you would expect, Shenron is mostly green and yellow. He has really nice sculpting on all of the scale work on the upper part of his body, and then the lower part of his body is yellow and segmented, and there's a red line dividing the two parts. He's also got spikes going down his back, and of course he has his two sets of arm legs that are all clawed and match the scale detail of the green part of his body. All in all, appearance-wise, I have no issues. He looks exactly like Shenron. Perfectly fine. Head sculpt wise, you get some nice texturing on the green for the scales. He's got some like furry fin looking things coming out of the side of his head. Big horns on the top. His teeth and tongue and everything are all painted nicely. Big red eyes, and he has his whiskers that peg into his nose. They do fall out occasionally and they are very fragile, so I would be careful with those. All in all though, the head looks perfectly fine. Nothing to really complain about there. Articulation wise, you get some stuff that's really good, but almost everything else is really bad. He has a hinge in the jaw. And then the first section of his neck and body have ball pegs every little bit, so you can get a lot of motion out of there. That's really cool. Then his arms, and I guess legs, they also just look like arms. Both have the same articulation. Move around in the socket, in and out, forward and back, bicep cut, double joint elbows, hinge and rotation in the wrist. After that, you get really bad articulation. You get a few randomly placed ball pegs throughout the length of the body, basically meaning that the only parts of his body that are really posable are his arms and neck. Due to the way his body is sculpted, his body only lines up and looks properly in one position, basically, and there aren't enough joints to alter his position anyway, so the majority of his body is, for all intents and purposes, basically a statue. Accessories-wise, you don't get much. You get your Dragon Ball effect, which has a little glowing yellow effect piece, and then a set of glowing Dragon Balls that can be set down in there. Once the set of Dragon Balls that comes with the Dragon Ball set of SH Figuarts is complete, you can also place those in there, but at the moment, there are only 3 of those. And of course, you get your big, clear, 3-armed stand, which is absolutely required, as otherwise he's just going to be laying on the ground looking all weird. Packaging-wise, you get a pretty standard SH Figuarts box, with the exception that it's very, very wide. SH Figuarts Shenron, you get a little window and a big picture of the figure on the side, Dragon Ball Z, Bandai logos, all those sorts of things. On the back, you get some pictures of the figure and no real poses, because he doesn't really do that. As always, these are good for in or out of package display, and that about wraps it up for Shenron. So until next time, goodbye!